Hello, my kitty army. Today I'm going to do a narration of a story I've wrote. I only wrote it earlier today, but I watch a lot of creepypastas and I thought I'd have a shot at narrating. So I'm gonna just go ahead now. The story's called The Girl Who Went Missing. There was this girl. She went to my school, but she never spoke like everyone else. She nodded and used hand gestures most of the time when teachers talked to her. She didn't speak to any student, not even her own sister, who was in the year below her. She just never spoke. Her name was Angel. It was coming close to the end of the year, last few weeks, and this girl who never spoke started to freak out and cry a lot. She even punched a wall in frustration. She did this because the people at her school bullied her, just because she was different. They called her whore, slag, emo, and names much, much worse. They also pushed her around. Once a girl pushed her into a wall. She yelped out because it must have hurt her quite a lot. Anyway, I said she freaked out and cried a lot. She broke her knuckles punching that wall, but she still never made a sound. I began to notice that she had deep scars on her wrists. No doubt in my mind that she did it to herself. She felt like everybody hated her. I'd never admit it, but I adored her. She was so beautiful and so strong, eyes full of hair, but gorgeous nonetheless. But then, 3 weeks before the summer break, she stopped coming to school. I felt kind of sad. Just think her made my days at school better, although I never went near her or tried to talk to her. It's like she just disappeared. No one else seemed to notice or care but me. As the last few weeks rolled on, I felt a slight dread and began to get depressed not seeing her there. The dread rose and depression got deeper. She never came back. I began trying to find out what happened to her. I went over to her house. Her younger sister answered the door, with a great look of sadness in her eyes. I asked her where her sister Angel was. She looked down and slowly whispered, "She's gone to sleep." I stared at her, not knowing what she meant. Then her mother appeared behind her. Her mother told her to go back inside, and I was left with Angel's mother. So I asked again where Angel was, and her mother sighed, with the same sad look in her eyes her daughter possessed. She only said, Angel is gone. She paused before saying, dead. I stared at her in total disbelief. The girl I loved, dead. I wish I had told her. Maybe she wouldn't be dead now. I slowly backed away from the door, my mother closing it, so I turned around as tears streamed down my face. I ran into the night, trying to get as far as I could, but eventually I had to go home. So I shuffled home, tears still stinging in my eyes and spinning down my cheeks. I returned home and went straight up to my room, without a word to my parents. I passed my little sister on the stairs. She was only 5. She asked me, "What's wrong?" I just carried on walking past her. I reached my room, still sobbing. I lay on my bed, buried my head in the pillow. I soon fell asleep, and for a while I was okay. When I awoke, I checked my clock. It was 3 a.m. I suddenly remembered Angel. I started to cry again. So I made my way downstairs and looked into the medicine cabinet in the kitchen. There I found a bottle of pills, grabbed it, and ran back upstairs. I got out some paper and a pen. I scrawled a note saying, "I'm so sorry, but I can't live without her. She made me happy just with her presence, but now she's gone, so I must go too." It was short, but I couldn't think of anything meaningful to write. But as I set the note down and grabbed the bottle of pills, a ghostly white hand rested on mine, holding the bottle of pills. It was glowing faintly, illuminating the darkness in the room. I realized the wrist, and most the arm was scarred. It was Angel. I quickly looked up. She smiled down at me, and for the first time I heard her voice as she spoke. "Don't do it." Fresh tears began to roll down my face, and with her other hand she wiped them away. She spoke again. "I love you too." Then she was gone. I broke down with my head in my hands. I sobbed too loudly. It woke my mother and she ran into my room. She held me close and cooed to me, "It's okay, it's okay." I stopped crying so much and took my head out of my hands, and my mother asked, "What's wrong, hon?" I handed her the note and she began to sob a little too. Is she the girl who committed suicide? I slowly nodded. More tears streamed down my face. She held me even closer and spoke at last. It's okay, before getting up and calling the doctor. Right. I hope you enjoyed that story. If you want me to do a narration of your story, comment your story below and I'll do a narration of it. Also, if you want me to narrate a creepypasta, suggest a creepypasta in the comments below. Like, fave, subscribe to join the kitty army. Meow.